What do we got? We got this one.
So the president has discussed this idea quite a few times publicly. He's also discussed it privately. You're referring to the president's idea for American citizens to potentially be deported. These would be heinous, violent criminals who have broken our nation's laws repeatedly. And these are violent, repeat offenders in American streets. The president,
yeah, just like how the Venezuelans you sent down there were violent criminals, by which I mean 75% of them apparently had no criminal record whatsoever.
The president has said if it's legal, right, if there is a legal pathway to do that, he's not sure. We are not sure if there is. It's an idea that he has simply floated and has discussed very publicly as in the effort of transparency. Reagan. Thank you.
That's cool. That's great. That's great. Did you see Florida arrested a trans woman for protesting the state's bathroom ban? Yes. She's also going to get deported to Venezuela or something. Not Venezuela. El Salvador. Remember, the point of sending these people to an overseas gulag is so journalists can't get to them, or lawyers. That's the only reason you would do this. They're paying to have them sent over. They're paying Bukele to send them over so that they can be insulated from that exposure. They can be protected from it. Well, not protected, you know, shielded from it. That also implies they're being protected. Kept from it. There. Oh yeah, the Associated Press is coming back in. Maybe. Wins reinstatement to White House events after judge rules government can't bar its journalists. What do you think? They're going to appeal and it's going to go to the Supreme Court. Federal judge ordered the White House on Tuesday to restore AP's full access to cover presidential event, affirming on First Amendment grounds that the government cannot punish the news organization for the contents of its speech. Well, that's great. The decision, while a preliminary injunction, handed the AP a major victory. Obama placing medal on Obama.jpg. At a time the White House has been challenging the press on several levels. We'll see how that goes, I guess. Do you think the markets have been faked? Because I've been watching it and I do not believe that shit 100% looks fake. What do you mean faked? How do you fake a market? The indexes are like an aggregate of the combined values of thousands of different companies' shares. No 401ks are trying to stabilize the market. Dude, can you imagine how volatile the market would be without all the 401ks? What percentage of the market is made up of them? What percentage of stock market is... And then you add in like teachers' pensions or something. 401k plans held an estimated $9 trillion in assets, representing a significant portion of the U.S. retirement market. Yeah, but like relative to the total value of the market. I don't know, man. I found 63.1%. I have yet to find continuing interest in the subject. Acting IRS commissioner to resign over deal to share immigrants' tax data with ICE to help deport them. Isn't the acting commissioner along with Trump? Melanie Cross, who's served as acting head since February, will step down over the new dating sharing document signed Monday by Scott Bessent and Kristi Noem. The agreement will allow ICE to submit names and addresses of immigrants inside the U.S. illegally to the IRS for cross-verification against tax records. So she's resigning what, out of disgust? I feel like anyone appointed by Trump to this would probably be okay with this being done. Oh wait, this one is like actually bad. The DOJ was preparing to send U.S. Marshals to a former employee's home ahead of an appearance she is set to make with two high-profile Democrats over restoring actor Mel Gibson's gun rights. The DOJ is sending marshals to do witness intimidation. They were doing this with the shadow cabinet. DOJ shadow cabinet witness intimidation. Give me a good article here. A whistleblower says Trump sent the U.S. Marshals to try to intimidate her. Not the first time marshals have acted in a strange way like this since Trump took office. A whistleblower who testified in Congress today is accusing the Trump administration of trying to intimidate her with the help from the U.S. Marshals Service, the law enforcement agency of the federal judiciary. Liz Oyer, the former U.S. pardon attorney who was fired last month, says Justice Department leaders dispatched two special deputy marshals to her house on Friday night, days before she was scheduled to speak with lawmakers about her concerns with the firing of career employees and what she describes as corruption at the department. Is this in reference to the same incident? Liz Oyer and... Yes. Though in this one, they're talking about the gun rights being restored to Mel Gibson for political reasons. You appear to be using the department's security resources to intimidate a former employee who is engaged in statutorily protected whistleblower contact, Oyer's attorney Michael Brumwick, a former DOJ Inspector General, wrote in a letter to Justice Department leadership on Monday.
On Friday night, around 9:15, I learned that the Deputy Attorney General's office had directed the Department's Security and Emergency Planning Service to send 2 armed special deputies.
I'm going to get the full video in this. Hold on. It's a little bit more important than a 30-second
Ms.
short.
Ware, why don't you start us?
So, okay, for those of you unaware, the Democrats are running what are they calling it? People's Cabinet? They're calling it the People's Cabinet. Well, that's cute. They're running a shadow cabinet where they are bringing in a bunch of people who have been wronged by the Trump administration to get them to testify to explain how fucked up things are on the back end. They're holding hearings, but Democrat-only hearings, essentially, as is their right.
Off.
Thank you very much. Exactly 1 month ago today.
Can you turn your mic on or bring it close?
Can you hear me now?
A little closer, if you would.
Shadow hearing.
How's that?
Better. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Exactly 1 month ago, I was terminated from my job as the Justice Department's pardon attorney. The pardon attorney is a non-political position that is entrusted with advising the president about the exercise of his constitutional clemency power. When I was fired, there were over 6,000 applications pending from ordinary Americans around the country who were seeking the president's mercy and second chances through clemency. I had planned to talk today about the events leading up to my firing, but some more recent developments have persuaded me to focus my time on the callous cruelty with which DOJ leadership is treating dedicated public servants like myself. For me, this began with my abrupt firing. It was 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. I was in a conference room meeting with colleagues from several different DOJ offices. We were brainstorming about how to implement a priority of the Attorney General. Halfway through the meeting, I was frantically pulled out by my deputy. In the hallway, she broke the news to me that security officers were waiting for me in my office to serve me with termination papers and escort me out of the building. I rushed back to my office. There, I was handed a 3-sentence memo signed by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, firing me effective immediately. I had never met Mr. Blanche, and I received no explanation for his decision. That afternoon, I walked out of the building for the last time carrying a grocery bag filled with my personal effects.
Grocery bag, Jesus.
I had no time to say goodbye to my team. I was in shock. Everyone I passed on the way out was looking on in shock and horror. I want Deputy Attorney General Blanche and Attorney General Bondi to know it is traumatic for everyone in an entire organization to see a beloved colleague and leader treated that way.
All right. I'm sure you were very loved.
My heart aches for my colleagues who had to go back into that office on Monday with no explanation from DOJ leadership and no assurances about what the future holds for them. They are good, dedicated people, and they deserve better. After I was fired, I chose to speak publicly about the events leading up to my termination. I felt that it was my obligation to share my concerns about the reckless and unethical use of department resources to accomplish political objectives, including favors for loyalists and friends. Shortly after I did so, Mr. Blanche contacted the media to accuse me of lying. This still puzzles me because his staff has all of the memos and emails that substantiate everything I have ever said. I requested those documents through FOIA, but Mr. Blanche's staff still has not produced them.
I'm sure. I actually haven't heard of a single FOIA request being like approved and put through with regard to Doge or anything the Trump administration's been doing. I'm sure some have, but like overwhelmingly, it seems like, yeah, the FOIA is dead now. Like they're not giving you what you want. Remember when in like one of the ever escalating series of distractions they put through, they did the like part 1 of 4 of the Epstein files and they released classified documents that had already been declassified years ago, and they got a bunch of like right-wing fascist Twitter users to like for a photo op to hold up binders, and then it got forgotten like the next day because everything is just a transparent attempt to shoo people along to distract them from the fact that they're getting raped to death. Do we ever get part 2? No. And you never will. There was never going to be a part 2.
I have made some other simple requests of the department since my firing. One was for my annual performance evaluations, which show that I received outstanding ratings every year. One was for personnel documents that I would need to file for unemployment.
The government has answered some FOIA requests with actual poop emojis. 1 second. FOIA poop emoji. I know they did that from Twitter. Have they done that with FOIA requests? No, you're talking about Twitter. You're talking about emails to like Twitter get auto replied to with a poop emoji. That's not a FOIA request. You lied to me.
DOJ responded to me that these were complex requests and I could not expect a response in any reasonable period of time. For weeks after my firing, DOJ also refused to provide me with documents about my benefits, including my health insurance and including my retirement plan. Finally, on April 2nd, after my requests got some media attention, I got an email advising me that my health insurance would expire in 5 days. I learned that to extend my coverage, the cost to me and my family would more than quadruple. I was told that to keep my family members covered, I would have to prove my familial relationships with them. I was told that I would need to provide my marriage certificate, the birth certificate of my child, and proof of a common residence or joint tax filings with my spouse. Perhaps the most personally upsetting part of the story is the lengths to which the leadership of the department has gone to prevent me from testifying here today. On Friday night around 9:15, I learned that the Deputy Attorney General's office had directed the Department's Security and Emergency Planning Service to send 2 armed Special Deputy U.S. Marshals to my home to serve me with a letter. The letter was to be served at my home between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock on Friday night.
That's a ominous time to send people over. Not even during daytime working hours. They were deliberately scheduled to show up like 10 p.m.
In the car with my husband and my parents, who are sitting behind me today, when I got the news that the officers were on their way to my house where my teenage child was home alone. Fortunately, due to the grace of a very decent person who understood how upsetting this would be to my family, I was able to confirm receipt of the letter to an email address, and the deputies were called off. The letter had been emailed to me.
In a way, that's almost scarier. That, like, the marshals would be called off because they learned that she knew they were coming, you know? Like, that it's so transparently an effort at, like, shocking and intimidating you that being given info beforehand of it, they're like, oh, well, we were gonna, like, jump scare her, basically. But now there's no point because she knows. Like, she knows the sentiment. It acknowledges, essentially, that there is no reason for those marshals to be sent. There was no information they needed to communicate whatsoever, no investigation, nothing, just raw intimidation.
Before 8 o'clock that night.
Also, possibly, once they knew that she knew that they were coming, they might have not wanted press to be there. Because she probably would have been able to get someone there to be like, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you trying to intimidate me as a witness?
At no point did Mr. Blanche's staff pick up the phone and call me before they sent armed deputies to my home. The letter was a warning to me about the risks of testifying here today.
Yep.
But I am here because I will not be bullied into concealing the ongoing corruption and abuse of power at the Department of Justice. DOJ is entrusted with keeping us safe, upholding the rule of law, and protecting our civil rights. It is not a personal favor bank for the president. Its career employees are not the president's personal debt collectors. I see only Democratic members here today, but this is not a partisan issue. It should alarm all Americans that the leadership of the Department of Justice appears to value political loyalty above the fair and responsible administration of justice. It should offend all Americans that our leaders are treating public servants with a lack of basic decency and humanity. Thank you.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't really give a shit if you were treated poorly. It's more the, like, sending marshals to intimidate you out of being here thing that kind of gets me a little bit, you know? That, to me, is definitely the more pointed issue, I guess. Do we have the letter? Has she made the letter public? No, this is a letter in response. This isn't the letter. Yeah, I see the letter for the lawyer's response. Is there a letter? Has she made public the letter that was sent to her? She may not be able to make it public. Yeah, maybe. I wonder how many other times they've done that. We have more information on the extent to which marshals have been weaponized in this way, you know? Like how many former federal workers? Probably happens a lot these days. It's just crazy how much they're hollowing out, you know? Like, this administration is not operating like it wants to still be running a year from now, if that makes any sense. Like, they have not meaningfully replaced the people they would need to replace in order to keep the government working, like at all. Like, they're not keeping the power bill paid, essentially. Are they overreaching? I mean, in the sense that, like, a suicide bomber might be overreaching, I guess. The Supreme Court just verified their ability, not verified, I suppose, confirmed their legal right to do this. Supreme Court blocks order requiring Trump administration to reinstate thousands of federal workers. I kind of expected this. I didn't expect the Supreme Court to go the other way on this, but it is a reaffirmation.